Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to the 1.41 update in War Thunder. The update came earlier than most people expected, myself included, but it is here along with all the changes and additions it brings to War Thunder. Out of those changes and additions, I want to go over three of the most significant ones. They are the new planes that have been added to the game, the new cockpits that have been added for the Japanese Ki-45 series of planes, and the biggest change of all to the game, the addition of tanks into open beta after being in closed beta for a few months now. So let's go ahead and get started. First up is the Americans. They get the PBJ, otherwise known as Peanut Butter and Jelly, 1H, which is a bomber that is similar to the B-25s, but it has 8 50 cal machine guns in the nose, plus a single 75mm cannon in the nose. The PBJ-1J, which is similar to the 1H that I just went over, except the giant cannon is replaced with 4 extra 50 cal machine guns. Next up is the Germans. They get the Me-262A1A/U4, which is identical to the first Me-262 that was in the game, the regular A1A, except that the 4 30mm cannons are replaced with a single 50mm cannon. The Me-262C2B, which is similar to the C1A that was added in the last update, except that instead of 2 jet engines and 1 rocket engine, this one has 2 jet engines and 3 rocket engines. Third on the list is the Russians. They get the IL-10 1946 version, which is similar to the regular IL-10 that was already in the game, except that the 2 machine guns are replaced with 2 additional 23mm cannons for a total of 4 23mm cannons, and all 4 cannons are updated to a better model, the NS-23. The I-185M71, which is just a faster version of the I-185M82 that was already in the game. The MiG-334, which is the first MiG-3 variant to be added to the game with cannons. This one has 2 20mm SH-VAC cannons with 100 rounds each for a total of 200 rounds. Next up is the British. They get the Spitfire F Mark 14E, which is a new Griffin engine Spitfire that comes before the Spitfire Mark 22 that was added in the previous update. The Spitfire F Mark 18E, which is another new Griffin engine Spitfire. This one comes after the Mark 14 and before the Mark 22. And finally, the premium Spitfire F Mark 14C, which is pretty much identical to the regular Spitfire F Mark 14E that I just went over a little bit ago, and is the first Tier 4 premium plane to be added to the British line. I am personally very happy we finally have a Tier 4 British premium plane. Now next up would normally be the Japanese, but in this update there are actually no new Japanese planes. This is understandable considering Gaijin has had other priorities for this update. I know Gaijin could have skipped one new plane in another country, such as Russia or Germany, and given a new plane to the Japanese instead, but it really doesn't matter if one single country doesn't get any new planes in an update. Plus, Gaijin did something else for the Japanese instead. They gave cockpits to a series of planes that did not have cockpits before, and that is the Japanese Ki-45 series of planes. So here you can see the cockpit for the Ki-45 Te, which is the third Ki-45, and this is the one that has Shraga music as well. As you can see, they did not skimp out on the cockpit. The textures look really nice, the models look really nice, it just looks really nice overall. There's really nothing negative to say about the cockpits. It was not a cheap job at all. Here you can also see that the Shraga music indicator or crosshair or whatever you want to call it is also working in the cockpit, so that is awesome as well. The third and final major topic I want to go over in this video is that tanks are now in open beta. They've been in closed beta for a few months now, but now they are in open beta, and what that means is that anyone and everyone can play tanks in War Thunder for free, even if you're somebody who is brand new to the game and downloaded it an hour ago. So if I click the research tab here, you can see that there are a bunch of planes here. But if I click the army tab, you can see that there are a ton of tanks here. There are tanks for the Germans as well as for the Russians. Here you can see the Russian tanks. There are currently no tanks for the Americans, British, or Japanese, but they are planned in the future. This is just the early stages of tanks, and so it is Germans versus Russians. So if I wanted to play a game in a tank, I can easily do it actually. It's just like flying a plane in this game. Let's take a tank that I actually own. Let's go with the Panzer IIIF, which is the highest tier German tank that I unlocked in my 10-hour and 45-minute live stream that I just got done doing today. I'm recording this just after that live stream. I can choose the tanks, I choose a crew, and I actually already have it in a crew, as you can see by this check mark. I just click it, choose a crew, and there we go. The tank is now in a crew, so I can actually play it. But oh no, there is a problem. The tank is grayed out, as you can see. Planes are not grayed out, but the tank is grayed out. If I click to battle, oh no, the game doesn't let me. Whatever will I do? I can't play tanks. I must not have access, right? That is completely wrong now that it's an open beta. So what you want to do is go over here to the To Battle button and click on Tank Battles. And now the tank is not grayed out, it is highlighted, and the planes are grayed out. I can no longer fly planes because you can't fly a plane in a tank battle unless you somehow drive your plane on the ground and use it like a tank, in which case you're going to get owned because planes don't have enough armor compared to tanks. But that's a whole nother story. If you try doing that, have fun. But click tank battles and you can drive tanks, or click air battles and you can fly planes. Simple as that. Once you click tank battles, you can then choose your favorite game mode, whether that's arcade, realistic, or simulator. I highly recommend simulator unless you're a true beginner noob who just started the game, in which case try arcade. Simulator really is the best mode, even especially for tanks, if not so for planes, because I know that the entry level in planes is quite high compared to realistic, but with tanks, it's actually a pretty low entry level, relatively speaking. So that's really all there is to tanks. There's not much else to say about them. There are a few new tanks that have been added to the game, mostly premiums, since the closed beta, but the one that I am particularly interested in is the Jagdpanzer 38T, which is the Hetzer. This is probably the most popular new tank that has been added since the closed beta. Everybody knows what the Hetzer is. If you are familiar with some German World War II tanks, you're probably familiar with the Hetzer. So that's a new tank that I'm interested in. The others aren't so special. They're really just copies of existing tanks, and they're just there to be premiums and stuff like that. But yeah, there's really not much else to say on tanks or in this video about the updates, so that is all for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it helpful, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.